So, I wanted to point out, this reminded me how much I dislike Fox News. But anyway, I'm going to say first, I haven't read either of these books. I have read other Maureen Johnson books, but this one is still on my to-read list. I plan on reading it next time I have the time, which means sometime summer, maybe in this next week. But that's not that bad. Um, on the video, they kept saying the youth section of our public library, the youth section, the youth section. It's not the youth section, it's the young adult section, aka the teen section. The teen section. Alright, so if you're going to think of it like video games, I mean, I'm not saying that these books should get ratings, but there is a system. There's the little kids, there's youth, which are obviously youth, and there's normally a YA on the spine of the book. This means young adult, teenager. I mean, and the fact is, you can tell your kid no young adult books. That's not that big deal, but if you let your kids like teen games, which are often the case with the shootings, or mature games, this is the same way. I mean, understand that you pick up a young adult book, and it's going to be like this. I mean, Pretties, young adult, yeah. Actually, I don't know about Pretties, but I know it goes on to, yeah. Right? Okay. Maybe not the best. I don't know. Harry Potter, I believe, is in the youth section. If not, it's because the books get darker, and it makes certain nudges that way. It is youth. I'm looking over at my bookshelf right now. Perfect You. That is young adult because it goes for young adult relationships. But Series of Unfortunate Events, it has nothing of that sort. So it's children's, or it's youth. Children's youth. They're different but the same, you know. Let's see. Okay, Twilight. Okay, I bet you would let your child read Twilight. I would prevent it because it. But anyway, and it's just as bad. Heck, that's why it's young adult. That's why it's not youth. It's young adult. There are aspects of it that aren't good for small children, and they're thinking children over 12, maybe they can handle it. But if you don't think that your child can handle it, don't let your child read it. God. I understand your issue. It's a personal issue. Not everyone issue. I'm 14. I mean, and I read books like Impossible by Nancy Werlin. And I read 13 Little Blue Envelopes, which nudges it that way, but isn't. Okay, it's not as far that way as Bermuda's Triangle, and I haven't read any of the other series, so I'm not going to even comment on that. But, you know, it's still a really good book, and sometimes that's what you need in a book. It shows emotion, it shows feeling. I mean, alright, so, Girl at Sea by Maureen Johnson. That's young adult as well. There's some young adult books that aren't as bad, but it basically means that kind of boy-girl relationship thing. That's young adult. Young adult means teen, aka T or M in the video game world. If you're not going to let your child play one of those video games, then don't let it's personal. I'm 14, and I'll be reading Bermuda's Triangle because it looks like a dang good book. I mean, and I don't even live in Florida, but I have a 13-year-old cousin who does. And if I read that book, and if I read a book like that I enjoyed, and it had that type of thing in it, I'd still give it to her and tell her to read it. But I'd warn her, this might have this in it. That's why it's young adult. So keep that in mind, and if you're not okay with that, don't read it, but it's a really good book, so I suggest that you do. It's young adult, it's already warning, it doesn't need anything more. No banning, no censoring. It's good. It's a good book. If you don't want your child to read that, have them read the youth books, aka the children's books. Really,